Was it specified? Who did that? We're lacking green. It's 4, it's not 5. What do you mean? Can Mercurius do something like that? How Reinhardt and Mercurius started? Or was it just Kasumi and Ren? Wow, she like lost her whole will to fight. Oh god, no. Hello and welcome, PocketWatch here, and it's about time for another episode of DS irae. So, I'm not giving you any speech before right now, so I don't have anything to say. Let's just go to the episode. I'm excited, and let's just go. This might be the fastest intro ever in DS irae and on this channel in general, so let's go. I bet you didn't expect me to not talk for 5 minutes before. Let me know in the comments. Did you expect it to like wait for 5 minutes before I even start? Not knowing how to react, I simply patted her hair on the head. I did it, half out of reflex, but it helped me finally realize something. She was warm, alive. And so, while there were still many things I would have liked to know about, we already learned enough from her tonight, just as Shiro said. And I decided not to torment her with painful memories any further. It didn't really matter from what point in time did she know about those psychos, nor did it matter how much she knew.
先輩に謝られるのはなんか新鮮だよな。
Yeah, probably.
藤井君、年下なんだから頭触らないで。
But you are shorter than me as well. She was my friend, and that would never change. I never felt and wasn't planning to feel anything negative towards her. Who cared if she happened to have been embroiled in the insane plans of the few lunatics? Valeria Trifa, the divine vessel, whatever his goal, I would celebrate the fact that his actions saved one of my friends from danger. Now, all I had to do was to rescue Kasumi. I wasn't planning to forget the countless dead I failed to save, but I also couldn't allow past regrets to cloud my judgment and risk the lives of those still alive. That's wise words here from Ren. Kind of didn't expect him to say anything wise. Don't know why. Afterwards, we proceed to have a meaningless and light-hearted conversation about nothing in particular. I didn't tell her what I thought about Sister Lisa, nor did she tell me anything about her death. It was an attempt to escape reality. We just needed a few smiles to carry us through tough times, to keep us facing forward. See? That's what I was always saying about Kasumi. We need characters like Kasumi to keep us like facing forward, to just like bring some happiness and just not like get down with like all the negativity that's going on around.
でも藤井君は誰にでも好きって言うよね。
Though I wished she could let that one go already.
無自覚、タチ悪い。もっと語彙を増やしてほしい。
Okay.
誰にでも嫌い嫌いって言ってる人もそういえばいるし。
I just so happen to know a person who tells everyone how much they hate them. Sakurai?
似てるよね、君たち。頑固でツンデレなと。
Oh my god, I was right. She's talking about Sakurai. Yes. The pair of tsunderes. Oh my god, this is going to be amazing. And after uttering those words, tainted by exasperation and childish resentment, Humura slowly drifted off to sleep.
しかし垂直落下だなこの人も。
Well, you did pass out in the previous road when you came back from... I mean, even in this road, right? You came back to the home with Kasumi and you basically passed out. So yeah. In any case, I should leave her to her dreams. I had some other business to take care of tonight. Not to imply it was a playback for before, but I stopped to take a few pictures of Himura's sleeping face before leaving. Oh, okay. Okay. I stuffed the phone back into my pocket and waved at the security camera, though which I was sure Hanjo had been observing me. Interpreting her lack of response as an okay sign, I left the premises.
よう、意外に早かったな。
Okay. What did you expect me to do there? If you expected it to go longer.
先輩も疲れてんだろ。
He waited for me outside, like it was the most obvious thing in the world. Well, I kind of expected him to, so it didn't bother to comment. And so, Shiro and Lai left to wander the night streets. What's the name of this shop here? I never actually looked at that. Spectre? Could that mean Spectre? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Do you think it's spelled Spectre here? AL and Games. Spectre. I think this is the game shop, right?
タワーでよ、殺しがあったらしいぜ。ついさっきの話だ。
Yeah. That was something else. Yeah.
つっても数は多くね。いや、少なくもねえんだが。
Well, there's still Busoka.
楽観はしない。6つ目も開いたと思う。
Yeah. Good point.
気が合うね。俺も同感だ。
Rubedo raised the amusement park to the ground. Albedo appeared in front of Himuro, and I saw Nigredo myself. Also, yeah, like you pointed out, we shouldn't like really listen to like Rhea because she don't know everything. And I didn't thought about this actually. I think in the previous episode, it's been a while since I've recorded, but they just opened the sixth one and Rhea was fine. Like she didn't like collapse, she didn't start bleeding, she like nothing happened to her. So it's clear sign that she's like totally detached from what's happening right now. But on the other hand, that may mean that Kasumi may suffer right now. The main forces of those maniacs seems to have been finally assembled. I couldn't help feeling like all the other members were more or less superfluous as long as those three carried out their goals. After all,
多分ビルヘルムは桜井が倒してる。
yeah, pretty much.
タワーでやられたのはおそらくルサルカだ。
Wow, safe bet. Yeah, I mean they will not kill the top three of the commanders or Rifa. That much is like obvious. I mean they could actually get rid of Trifa and then the commanders would be, yeah, that's fine. But on the other hand, killing Trifa would be like going against Reinhardt, I guess, because who appointed Trifa as the leading commander right now? Was it specified who did that? Was that Reinhardt who told Trifa to, hey, you will lead them now when I'm out? Can you remind us to me in the comments? Was that like ever specified? Like who made Trifa a commander? Or he just like came up with like, hey, you know what? I will be your leader in the absence of Lord Heldrich. So yeah, do you agree? And everyone is like, yeah, whatever, we agree. Or that was the thing. I don't really remember. Swastikas are opening one after another. At the same time, they were gradually losing members. I hesitated, calling the others mere underlings, but it seems like that was more or less the case. Especially since the key members apparently didn't mind sacrificing others for their goal one bit.
ずーっと残りは
Well, the worst guys.
切り捨てて良さそうなのは桜井とカインだな。
Yeah, they can go with Kain. That's what happened last time.
ドンピシャ。残り2つで2人かよ。
そうなるな。
Yeah. Valera Triva served as their substitute commander. I imagined he would be holding the reins of the whole thing until the last swastika opened. And the 3 officers would most likely remain till the end as well. Until Reinhardt came back to the world.
ティーヤ・ハガル。
The fuck you mean?
連中の有名な思想でな。第三帝国を背負って立つ優秀な人材を指すんだと。
Okay.
ハガルってのはアルファベットの H だ。この頂点は4つある。だからフィーヤ、つまりヒトラー、ヒムラー、ヘス、ハイドリヒ。4人のハガル。
Okay.
世界史で習うレベルの有名人揃いだな。
All famous people you can find in history books? Wait, you can find Heldrich in the history book?
おう、だからこりゃ表なんだよ。
Oh, that's a new CG. We have CG of Shiro with cigarette. That's a new one. Okay, never saw that. He exhaled a cloud of fumes through his smiling teeth and gazed at the lights of the town glimmering in the
ロ
distance.
ンギヌス13ってのは元を正せばヒムラー SS 長官の趣味に過ぎねえ。言っちまえばただのオカルト遊びなんだ。
Longinus 13, pet project of Himmler. Wasn't that... I'm trying to recall the backstory of Trifa and Lisa with the Leben's children. Wasn't that the Himmler that started this whole thing? I think. But there were those who turned that game into a dreadful reality.
奴らはその裏暗部だな。遊びがマジに変わったからいろんなもんが本気でヤバいものに変わる。例えばフィーア・ハガルがフュンフ・ハガルに。
4 match became 5. Who else?
さっきエリーが言ってたのはそういうことだろ。黒化、白化、石化。
Oh,
それにプラス黄化。
yellow and green, okay. But we're still lacking one then. Right? We're lacking green. Who's green then? We don't have anyone with the green color hair. Huh.
黄色ってのは神父のことか。
Well, I think like yellow is more like Heldrich, but okay, could be sure, why not? I still more concerned about green. I'm sorry.
さあ
I'm not cutting it out.
そうかもしんねえし違うかもしれねえ。とにかく総大将が出てくるには5人必要なんだと俺は読むね。だからこのメンツ以外全滅したってあちらさんは構わねえんだろう。
You needed 5 colors, pentachroma, to synthesize gold. In other words, only the 3 officers, the core, and the 1 extra were necessary for the plan. The rest didn't matter. 5 color. Wait, what? It doesn't match up. What the fuck do you mean? You need 5 colors. So 3 and 1 extra. It's 4. It's not 5. What do you mean? I'm confused. You just said 5 and you counted 4. Or rather, it felt like they were deliberately killing each other off. Wilhelm, Rusauka's sister Lisa Sakurai, might have been brought along simply to convenient sacrifices.
バカだね。殺しまくる気満々できたくせに自分が切られる可能性はあまり考えてなかったなんて。
I mean, they're freaking strong. I don't think you can deal with them.
そういうの戦争屋にあるまじきって思わねえ。ぶっ殺すのが商売ならぶっ殺される覚悟もしとけっての。
ああ、俺もそうだと思うよ。
Kidding aside, even a fool knew they'll expect getting a punch back if they hit someone.
ただ仕方ないところもあるんだろうな。
The bastard has power that defied common sense, and lived through countless battlefields without so much as a scratch these past 60 years. Most people who lead lives like that would have their fear of death severely dulled over the decades.
そう思えばシュピーネが一番優秀だったのかもしれないな。あいつは今みたいな状況になるのを読んでいて、それを防ごうとしてた。
I cannot believe it! We are giving some credit to Spine. What? Okay. So ultimately, he just ended up dancing to the Divine Vessel's tune.
正直少しは同情してる。普通に生きてりゃ多分普通に死ねただろうに。
That's true. We have that explained by Rusauka, because you can extend your life by taking souls, but if you live normally, then you will die anyway. Not that they could possibly understand the concept having been born in the midst of war. We transcended madness itself to acquire those powers. We yearned for them despite the resentment we felt for their master. I recall Rusauka words. In the end, they too were simply dancing to Mercury's stone. Entrusted with unimaginable powers, and with no option to refuse, they collected souls as if they were pigs bred for the slaughter. Even if the promise of immortality was true, I doubt their commanders cared for their underlings' fates in the slightest. Yeah, pretty much. They are no different from expendable pawns, and enticed by promises and rewards like trained dogs. No wonder they hated their masters. Yeah. Shiro started alone, as if talking to himself while I was still deep in the thought.
マジモンの不死身とか死んだやつが生き返るとかそりゃねえよって思うんだわ。
I mean, in terms of like what Reinhardt is supposed to like. I mean, Reinhardt have like tons of souls in his castle, right? So technically he can resurrect people, right? So he can just like give back the soul to the body, I guess, right? We still don't know how the Mercurius magic works though. Like, can you actually achieve immortality? Can Mercurius do something like that? With the souls that they accumulate? Huh.
うまい話には裏がある。一人助けるために1000人殺せってのも、まあ、えぐいといやえぐいけど。
Yeah.
本当にそれだけやれば全部解決ってほど甘いのかね。死んだやつがどんな形で生き返るのか、自分がどういう風な不死身になるのか。
How exactly did it come back to life? Okay, that's a good point. We have kind body with Valkyria soul in him. That's technically brought her back to life, right? Yeah, that's a good point, Shiro. What happens after you become immortal? Yeah, that would like after like probably like thousands of years or something that you would be like annoyed as fuck. And you would like to die finally, but you would be unable to, so it's like eternal torture. Yeah, that sucks.
お前はどうだ？
さあ、どうだろうな。
I cared neither for immortality nor for resurrecting the dead. I had no idea what these bastards were thinking, and I couldn't sympathize with any of it.
お前、俺が死んだら。
笑うね。
Obviously.
俺が死んだら？
墓にエロ本でも備えてやる。
Oh my god. Okay, I love this too. That was the extent of our opinions on death. Coming back from the dead made no sense. And we knew full well that people could die at any moment through the whimsy of fate. Also, we know from the previous road that Heldrich actually can revive people. Actually, no, not revive. I thought about reviving, but yeah, like reviving would be most likely Kane and Valkyria situation, but he can like bring back souls. So like with in the previous road we have Ren in the bed, who's basically a vegetable without soul pretty much, and Reinhardt just bring back his soul right after everything, and he woke up, and then we have like this whole ending with Kasumi. Hey, yeah, we are going to have kids and stuff, and then 60 years later Reinhardt will come back. Great. Little Sonnenkinds are going to come back on the earth and bring destruction.
死人が生き返るなんて気色悪いよ。
ああ、想像するだけです。
そんなもんが出てきたら、ドタマぶち抜いて墓に叩き返すだろ。
Okay.
相手によってはそうだろうな。
Our opinion, at least, my opinion on the matter.
人殺しが不死身だ蘇生だのどんなギャグだよ。
同感だな。身の程ってもんをわきまえてね。
If someone got killed and was buried, that was the end, period. I'd never think to try pull them out of their graves. That was just how the world worked, and just Shiro had already pointed out, it was no different for soldiers. If you were a murderer, at least you could do was accept the finality of death. If you choose to kill to solve your problems, it simply didn't make sense to suddenly start crying about wanting to bring people back to life.
ああ、そっか。それで俺、あいつが気に食わねえんだな。
Yeah, from the perspective of what you just said, it just occurred to me as well. Yeah, because you just said like murderer should like at least like not thinking about bringing the people back, right? And she is killing, and she wants a person to come back. So yeah, that's like one, it's like contradiction, but on the other hand, you can see why, because it's like her closest family and she really cared. We don't know full extent of Sakurai backstory yet, so I cannot say how important kindness for her, but yeah, if she's willing to sacrifice so much for him, then yeah, he's like really important to her. Shiro considered me with narrow eyes for a few moments before his gaze lit up with a spark of understanding.
けど向こうだってかなりお前のことが気に食わねえと思うぜ。
そりゃ分かってる。
We're like water and oil, thoughtfully incompatible. Himura said we resembled each other, but that only applied to the surface. In truth, our hearts were separated by the bottomless ravine.
まあお前はつうか俺もだが、最悪バカスミやエリーが言っちまってもそういうことはしねえだろうからな。ほら、なんだっけか。お前の名言あったじゃん。
戻ってくるものは価値がないか？
おう、それそれ。結構真理ついてると俺は思うぜ。100円落としてもまた拾うことは結構あるがよ。100万落としたらそうは拾わねえよ。そんな大金。それをあいつは100円1万回拾うことで何とかしようとしてるわけだ。絶対それ元の100万じゃねえだろうに。
Okay. I kinda like this analogy. If you had lost something truly irreplaceable, not even eradicating the whole mankind would be enough to pay for it. The more you cared about it, the further it would slip from your grasp. Yet there they were, making complete mockery of everything they held dear by trying to pay them off with a couple thousand souls, all the while being completely oblivious to the very fact. She was right, they couldn't possibly get a straight deal with that. Where did this blindness, this night comical short-sightedness of theirs originate from?
違うな。
ん？
血筋の話、さっきしたろ。
Yeah? Yeah, like from what? From like how Reinhardt and Mercurius started, basically. That's what like I want to know. I want to know the origin of Mercurius and Heldrich. How did they got their powers? How Mercurius, like, you know, got like magic stuff they kept mentioning. How Reinhardt got his like powers of Ahnerbere. How they discovered Ahnerberes in the first place. All the power systems. We need to know more. The idea that Kasumi and Humura were relatives, and that sister Lisa could have been their shared great grandmother.
お前もそういうのには淡白だよな。
I never bothered to learn anything about my parents. I bet Shiro was no different in that regard. The strength of blood, ties or whatnot. We couldn't even properly comprehend the bonds that drove her this man.
人のことを反抗期のクソガキみたいに言うなよ。
客観的な話だよ。お前は突然変異だのなんだのといろんな奴らに言われてただろ。
ああ、特にお前が言ってたような気するけど。
He came from the most average of any families I knew. Worldly minded folk that just wanted him to do well in school. And yet he alone seems to have been born wired.
それより血がどうしたよ。
ああ、そのことなん。
Neither he nor I cared much about our roots. It felt like we appeared out of thin air one day, and it didn't really matter what kind of circumstances had led to us being the way we were. And so we kinda lacked what people would describe as the familiar bonds. It was likely stupid and completely futile for us to even try figuring this out, but
あいつ、桜井な。
yeah.
兄貴がいるんだってよ。
へえ。
As I thought, Even though it had become clear that her brother was no average man, Shiro still showed no interest in the idea whatsoever.
死体やろうか。
そうだ。
ま、それくらいしかぽいのいねえし、前の一件で挙動不審だったから、なんかしらつながりはあるんだろうと思ってたよ。で
Yeah. Like, and what's up? What about it? He's dead. I have but one thing to do.
今から桜井と蹴りつけに行く。
Oh shit. Okay. I agree with Shiro. That goofy whistle made it painfully obvious he had seen right through me. Not like I was really trying to hide anything.
見当ついてたくせに白々しいんだよお前。
だってさすがに今から教会ぶっこもってほどバカじゃねえだろ。
Maybe? That place was likely their main headquarters. If I tried to launch an attack on it while being this exhausted and alone, no less, I would be dead in seconds. I wish to rescue Kasumi as soon as possible, but at the same time, I wasn't dumb enough to just blindly charge headfirst into certain death.
一応聞いとくが、味方につける気か？
That would be cool.
桜井を？
うん。なんせこっちは圧倒的に戦力不足だ。仲間増やしてかつ向こうの駒を一つ削る。一石二鳥だろ。
Yeah, I can agree with Shiro.
だったらお前がそうしろよ。
君は間違ってるし、騙されてる。だから僕らと協力して奴らを倒し世界を救おう。バ
Nice.
カか。冗談抜かせ。何が悲しゅうて価値観の違うやつに自分の論理を押し付けなきゃ。
なら俺にもそんなの期待するなよ。
そこはお前にしかできねえやり方ってもんがあるんじゃねえの？
うん？
You'd say the strangest things from me from time to time. Well, Shiro realized that there's something like Sakurai actually is willing to help Ren if he asks.
冗談だ。忘れろ。
How about at least trying to get me on the same page?
まあ、なんでもいいけど、俺は今から喧嘩を売りに行くんだよ。
そうね。お前は意外と切れやすいもんね。
Said the main culprit behind my anger management issues.
そりゃ、あの姉ちゃんには同情票も集まりそうだが、諏訪原皆殺し計画立ててたのはガチだろうし、バカスミのことも無関係じゃなかろうし、お前の性格なら売りに行くだろうとは思ったよ。ただ、
He paused for a second, looking over me.
喧嘩売って、喧嘩して、それでどうすんだよ。
Yeah.
考えてない。
As usual, that's typical for Ren. He basically wanted to know whether or not I planned to kill her.
けど、あいつは放っといたら高確率で切られる。もともと旗から見ても立場は微妙だったし、練習から見りゃいらないだろう、もう。
Yeah, pretty much. So basically, you either kill her, and that will make for them it harder to open the last two swastikas, or you make her join you, and you may try to protect her from the rest of the guys and somehow win by some miracle and protagonist powers.
だから、
そうなる前に捕まえて言うこと言って、どうせ喧嘩になるから喧嘩して、あとは知らん。どうとでもなれだ。何が面白いんだよ。
いやいや、了解。じゃあ俺は隅の方で見物するわ。いいじゃん、やっとけ。すげえバカだけど、お前らしいわ。
自覚はしてるよ。
Sakurai wasn't just some random-faced schoolgirl. If I got into a serious fight with her, I'd likely get hurt and expend tons of energy. Considering Kasumi and the numbers of enemies we had, it was a terrible idea to waste our resources on her. But if we did, it would be better to kill her off before those psychos could use her as the next sacrifice. Understood that much, yep. But the other thing is, if you are actually able to do this.
俺もお前と一緒で、他人に自分の価値観を押し付けようとは思わないからな。ただその分、一方的に文句言うつもりもないんだよ。血の絆ってやつを実感できない身としては、どっちが正しいとか間違ってるとかの話じゃない。あいつにとっちゃ兄貴でも、俺にとっちゃ違うから。
The first thing I would do was tell her that I planned to kill Kain. From the way it seems, she had sacrificed everything, soiling her head with blood, all for the sake of getting her brother back. And that resolve in a way felt somehow similar to mine, the way I had been forced to embrace the abnormal to reclaim my normal life. As someone who shattered her hopes, at least I could do was to have a proper talk with her.
そう思うから喧嘩だ。
Yeah. She's not going to let you kill Kain. I didn't think about how far it could escalate, or what conclusion it could bring out. I knew the whole thing was stupid. Common sense aside, she was someone I simply had to set things straight with sooner or later. Which was why I'd call this a fight, instead of relying on exaggerated terms like battle or bloodshed.
頭にチワがつきそうだって思うのは俺だけかい？
つかねえよ。
ああ、わかったよ、クソ真面目くん。お前の言うことはガキの頃から理屈臭くて長ったらしい。それで結局デートのお誘いはどうやんの？
Yeah, like, where is she even?
さっきメールを打った。
Okay, he just texted her. Annoyed by his endless praying, I was about to tell him off when
お？
her reply came. Okay. She agrees for the meeting. I'll be waiting at school. Exactly how much time and courage did it take for her to type in that brief reply? She then cancelled the message 3 times after already clicking to send button.
バカみたい。
Kind of. What on earth was she doing anyway? She spent a whole day standing absently in this place. The bodies of those that perished here were absorbed, so the incident hadn't made it to national news yet. But with about 100 survivors, it was only a matter of time before everything came to light. Not to mention that with the 5th swastika opened, the school had already turned into alternate world. Did it? That's how it worked? Okay. No one in their right mind could bear to enter its perimeters any longer, meaning that Tsukinasawa High would likely remain closed forever. That was a thing? Really? I'm trying to think about the museum back from the beginning. Were there any other customers in the museum? The visitors? Or was it just Kasumi and Ren? Maybe it was only Kasumi and Ren who were inside. I don't remember. Oh, so normal people cannot enter places like this anymore? What about then, like, in the den with Shiro and Ellie? They are normal. Okay, that's weird.
俺の日常。
That concept he kept harping on about, calling it irreplaceable. She knew that being a student, as well as the very existence of this school, were the core components of his ardent desire. And that very same school had perished today, or rather, she herself killed it. Regardless of what happened from here on out, no one would ever enter its ground again. Kei couldn't imagine his pain, but guessed he would never forgive her. After all, she had robbed him of one of the few places he could call home. Yeah, that's true. And he wants to rob you of your brother. So yeah, you have things to fight for. She could certainly share in his sentiment. He wasn't the only one who treasured this place.
私も。
She loved this place as well, and had grown quite fond of it. Although they made it sound like a joke the other day, Kei really did find her school life tremendously fun. Being in Japan, surrounded by boys and girls her age, it granted her respite. It taught her that despite her own past and upbringing, the world wasn't entirely devoid of peace. Even if she was someone who could only exist in the shadows, it didn't mean that the rest of the world was dark too. She didn't wish for everyone to suffer just because she herself had it rough. Kei Sakurai never wished for the empathy of others. Joint suffering with a fellow human being wouldn't lessen the pain. The very notion made no sense to her. Pain was like an infectious disease that tortured everyone in equal measure, You would have to be out of your mind, or an outright psychopath, to want to willingly unleash it to another. As such, she found solace in the idea that the peaceful world could exist regardless of what she would done or what befell her, making her worries seem insignificant. And that was also why she didn't want anyone else to lay their hands on it. She wanted to prove to herself she could sacrifice everything, even the second most important thing to her, for the sake of her goal. Second most important thing? I guess it means Ren? Oh no, wait, school, right? She still means school. Right? I think. Yeah, she means school. Second most important thing. A selfish, arrogant and foolish notion. She actually believed she would discover something by destroying it with her own two hands. She didn't regret it, she didn't hesitate, and she had no right to snivel about it. She sacrificed the happiness of countless others for her own. She didn't have the words to seek for their forgiveness, much less the right to complain about the hardship of her own fate. Fuji would never forgive her. The short text she received from him, merely asking for her location, demanded incredible resolve. In a dozen or so minutes, he would come here to condemn and execute her. He had more than enough of a reason to do so. Still, all she wanted to do was apologize to him. She had lost both her goal and will to fight. Only embers remained of her once blazing soul. Wow, she lost her whole will to fight. What the hell? Also, if you think about this, she opened the school swastika twice already. In the end of Kasumi Road and this time. It's like she's destined to open this one each time. Everything she had done all this time stemmed from the silly preconception of a foolish child. She created nothing, only littered the world with even more destruction and sorrow. She didn't go through all that to become an eternal slave of war. Kay wanted nothing to do with such a blessing. And so she spent all the time in deep thought. Would dying now liberate from her the vile blessing of the beast? If so, wouldn't it be her duty to fall to the hands of one who despised her, as opposite of fleeing through suicide? Yeah, he's not going to do this. In a way, he was more cruel than a cold-blooded assassin. He probably wouldn't kill her, even if she pleaded him to. And so, she had to force him. She had to force her with a withered fighting spirit back to life, lighting the waning embers of her soul anew. She would act out her role as the boy's enemy, even if it pained her to the core. That sucks! Oh my god. She hoped that with no one around, she could still be permitted to utter a few words of weakness. You fought with Ren last time in the previous road, and he still didn't kill you. I don't think it will happen this time as well. She wasn't planning to make him bad for killing her. Her suffering had nothing to do with Fuji. She didn't expect him to understand, nor to share in her burden. And so, for this handful of minutes before his arrival, she would allow herself a moment of weakness. She would do her best. She excelled at putting up a tough front. She knew Fuji was no different, always trying to act cool in front of Ayase. Oh wow. SG. She's smiling. The words left her lips like a prayer. Yeah, trying to convince herself, I guess, right? To spark the embers. He was her enemy, someone who stood in her way, a foe to slay. A pawn sat down on the chessboard to both realize her dream and hinder her at every turn. The battlefield that paved the way to their dreams, Valhalla, and Zarathustra, the adversary prepared for them in advance, as well as the lover they all sought.
カール・クラフト、ラインハルト・ハイドリヒ。
Uh-huh. The two pillars of the obsidian table, to whom she pledged her steel and lion heart, foolish, naive, little Kei Sakurai. She would cloak herself in the past self to face Fuji one last time, but wishing but one thing from him. She would act her part as the irritating, disagreeable woman he expected her to be. As such, she too wished for him to remain the person she detested, hoping he would utter the magic word to light her soul aflame, so they could remain as mortal foes with no common ground to speak of. If she could make her feel that way again, she would meet him in a battle as the fang of the beast he so detests. The heavy door of iron, the door to the roof opened with a creak, revealing the guests to end her solitude. Kay closed her eyes, evened out her breathing, and turned around, her heart burning with steeled resolve. She was determined to make this her final battle. Seeking to fulfill her dreams, she found only despair, dooming her beloved two knights to the fate of Einherjar like a true Valkyrie, a maiden of war and strife. Beloved two knights. Oh, right. Kain and Ren. It was time for Leonhard August to pay for her sins, to be executed under the pretense of battle. Oh god, no.
お前は一人で行ってこいよ。
Okay, I'm gonna stick around this place as well, and we'll see the rest in the next episode. I'm scared of the next episode. I don't want Sakurai to die. I don't think Eren will be able to kill Sakurai. I think like he will just defeat her just like in the previous road and like talk to her and you know she will join us. I really hope so. I really hope so. I don't want to lose Sakurai. I really don't want to. Also, it's her road, so we cannot like just get rid of her, right? At least not before the end. I guess it's too early. Like last time, it's too early to kill Sakurai, I think. So yeah, anyway, that will be it for this episode. Thank you for joining, and next time we will get some pretty intense and possibly also sad episode. This one started to be emotional, but the next one I expect to be really emotional. And also at the same time, and sad, and yeah, there's like twists of emotions all the time. So yeah. Anyway, thank you for joining, for being with me. Leave up a like if you like the episode, dislike if you dislike it, you can subscribe if you're not subscribed. Check my Discord, and like you can become a member as well if you would like to support me. And yeah, thank you everyone for being with me, and for now Pocket Watch is going out.